Jackson Bezdek,
Sam Lance.
how are you, man? It has been a long time. How are you doing, man? It's just been too long.
Been way too long, dude. Life is good. Still coaching, still loving every second of it. Um, Itching for Kansas basketball though, Sam Lance. Itching for it. What's life like for you, my friend?
Well, I'm also itching for some Kansas basketball, and we're getting close. Summer practice is going on right now. Bill Self, had a little, mishap there with the heart procedure, but
Alive.
he's good. Uh, And he said he's ready to coach. So, I'm ready. I'm excited about this group. We got a lot to talk about today. But Bez, how did your girls do this summer? I gotta know.
Dude, so the beautiful problem of coaching for a program like All Iowa Attack is we lost our best player to Team USA right before Nationals. So congrats to her, Addison Bjorn. Good for her. Would like to keep that name around the KU family. Just want to put that out there. She might be a Kansas women's basketball player in a couple of months. But so we lose her, go into nationals. Just kind of team was it was bad. Like it wasn't bad. I mean, we still have a bunch of great players, but it wasn't what we wanted it to be. Jada Porta, Michael Porter Jr.'s little sister, she got hurt, end of season injury. So there goes two 5 stars, and walking into nationals didn't go well. So we did win the second division bracket, but you want to win that top division. And our 16U team got fifth, so can't really complain much there. Big potential for this upcoming season, but yeah, man, I'm definitely hungry for some more wins this year because we didn't get it done this summer.
You know what's great about coaching, Bez?
What is it?
There's always next year.
There's always next year, baby.
Always
There's
next
always
year.
next year. Went undefeated regular season, 1 seed heading into the tournament, blew it. So we're hungry. We're ready to roll again.
Yeah, I've had quite the summer myself. You know me. I've been out on the trail. I went to Arizona. I went to Ohio. I went all over the place. Iowa. I hit you up to stay with you, and then I
At
realized
Iowa.
where I was going was, 3 hours away from where you live, and Iowa. That was fun. And then
Iowa's sneaky big state.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. And then of course, went down to Peach Jam, went to 3SB championships in Rock Hill. I've stumbled across some fortunate news that will be coming out soon. So I'm just excited, Bez. I'm ready to roll for this college basketball season.
There's nothing more I'm excited for. Slightly college football, but then once basketball starts coming around, oof, that's when I start feeling it.
Yes, sir. All right, Bess, we got a lot to discuss today. We're gonna go over, the final roster here. We've done a lot of, pre-off-season stuff, but haven't really done anything since Kansas added a bunch of big time pieces. So we'll kind of go over the roster, the schedule, how we think this team is gonna fare this year. And Bez, that's all just before the first break. We got a lot to get into today,
Mhm.
2026 recruiting updates. So let's get into it, y'all. Roll that intro music. We are back here with the hum via the Field of 68. Let's do it, Bez. All right, Bez, let's talk about this Kansas Jayhawks roster that has been built by Bill Self and staff this offseason. We were talking all offseason about how to build around Darren Peterson, his skill set. Retaining Flory was a big part of that. Kansas got that done. And then from there, our whole thing was go all out on the athleticism, the kind of the defensive archetype, and kind of just find a way to mix in some shooting, just go out there, hoop, play basketball. And I think Kansas didn't go out and get some huge names in the portal, but I think they did a good job of playing to their identity. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit later here after we go over the roster. But I will say this, Bez. I mean, let's face it, KU missed out on two of its biggest targets this offseason. Dame Sarr, due to some kind of draft late draft stuff on the Duke end ends up going to Duke instead of Kansas. Williams from Texas Tech ends up going to NC State instead of picking Kansas. So Kansas missed out on probably two of its biggest targets this offseason. Kansas wanted those guys, didn't get them. I will say, while that is a bit alarming, I just love this team, Bez. I love this team. I love the way that Bill Self has put together a team as opposed to a bunch of guys who are supposedly really, really good, highly touted basketball players. This is a team here, Bez. Just kind of what are your thoughts on this offseason?
It is the total opposite, total 360 of last year, which I think any fan was kind of hoping for. You're right, you don't get the big names, but I loved what we did, what Kansas did this summer. I mean, you just filled all the holes you needed. You and I had talked about before it really got going, coming off last year. Let Darren Peterson take all the shots. Just let him take all the shots. Figure out where you need to plug and play versus, okay, you need a spot up three shooter in the corner. Okay, maybe you need another ball handler to relieve some of the pressure off DP. Defense, defense, defense. Go out and get guys that can guard. That's what Bill Self loves to coach is defense. Find that identity again. Because last year, yeah, they were top 10 in Ken Palm in defense all year. That's great. Everybody who watched them
Hey,
failed the eye test. Not
hey.
even close. Not even close. I would have never said that was a top 10 defensive team. To touch on the two guys, you said Dame Sar. That was more of a logistics thing, why Kansas doesn't end up with him. Darian Williams, really interesting, goes to another Adidas school. So you can assume that NC State got into their pockets and gave Williams some cash. What that tells me is Kansas could have gotten him. They could have outbidded NC State, no problem. But they sit back and realize, okay, are we better off, just like we did last summer, going out and paying a bunch of money for one dude or two dudes or three dudes? Or let's allocate it to seven or eight guys that are really, really good that aren't asking for that massive price, right? Darian Williams goes, that's fine.
And
I would have
who
loved to
want to
see him.
be at Kansas? Bet.
Right. I would have loved to see him in a Jayhawk uniform, but it didn't seem like he was dying to be in a Jayhawk uniform. The rest of this roster, I really, really think they are total 360 from last year, and I'm freaking pumped for it, dude. I can't lie.
Mark Pope, whenever he had to build a whole new roster at Kentucky, his whole thing was about finding, guys who wanted to play for Kentucky, who really wanted to represent that university, and that was a good year for Kentucky that they just had, like a really incredible year. I think Kansas went out and found a lot of guys who are similarly gonna want to play for Kansas. Let's get into this roster,
Mm.
Jackson, and you can fire back in any way, shape, or form here. We're gonna go with the starting five kind of prediction first, just kind of what the rotation's gonna look like. Uh, then we'll kind of talk about some of these guys individually, all that why we think they're gonna be in these spots, and then just kind of some overall thoughts on the team. All right, I'm going Darren Peterson. That was a tough one to slide in there, first
That
guy.
one for a while.
And I'm going to go Marco Jackson to end up starting at the two next to Darren Peterson. Give Kansas another ball handler in that starting lineup, which I think will kind of be important at times to relieve some pressure off of Darren. And I think Marco, took a whole, season off with that injury, learned a lot about the system, I would
Yeah.
bet. Knows what's going on. So that hopefully will be kind of a steady veteran presence, if that's even a thing in somebody who's only played 1 year.
Yeah.
But El Marco at the two. Then I got Cole Rosario coming in as a freshman, surprising some people, starting at the three. Needs some shooting there. Then we got Trey White at the four. I think that's pretty much a lock. And Flory at the five. I think the three locks right now are Darren, Trey White, and Flory. I don't think there's four locks at the moment. Then I'll go to the bench. I think Melvin Council, Jaden Dawson, Paul and Baya are all going to be like 20 plus minute per game
Yeah, I
played
can see that.
off the bench. And that
Mhm.
would kind of be Kansas's top seven in my mind, or sorry, top eight
Right.
in my mind. And then you got Bryson Tiller, who I don't know health wise 100% where he's at, how effective he's going to be able to be. So we'll kind of just put him there for now. But I think a healthy Bryson Tiller could actually be a really, really good player.
Whoever's starting, not starting, those guys are all going to play 25 plus minutes. Let's just put it how it is. Like those two guys are going to play. They're going to
And
play a lot.
Flory and Paul are going to split, probably.
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
would I would be
probably
shocked if they
25-15,
yeah, I would be shocked if that
Is that
didn't.
the correct amount? I don't even know.
So I think
15.
that's the 40. You're good.
That's 40. Yeah.
But I think Tiller's too talented, and as like he's a true wing, kind of almost a true power forward, right? I think he's a perfect, yin to yang for Trey White. And I'm not saying they're gonna alternate minutes like Flory and Mbaya will, But I really, really like Bryson. I think he's a big sleeper because he's been hurt, because he came to campus early.
I
People have sort
agree
of
with you.
forgot about
I
him
just don't know about on this team. Like, are you like who would where would the minutes come out of? I guess Trey White at the four. There's not really
a little
anybody
bit.
else to play at the four unless Kansas goes either four guards with like Melvin, playing the
We
four
can do
or
that, right? But I'd be surprised if Melvin, Jaden, and El Marco are all really productive in all of their minutes. One of those guys is going to slip. Just, you deal with the mental stuff of this. I thought I was going to start. Now I'm playing 18 minutes a game. Now I can't make a shot. Now the rim looks tiny. Something's going to happen to one of those guys. And by the time that happens, if it does, Tiller will be 100%. And those are the minutes I think he slides into. But for now, so, like you said, I'm projecting my dream line at Bryson Tiller's getting 22, 23 minutes a game, coming off the bench, lighting it up. But for now, that's not going to happen. He's going to be tough to crack the top eight just because Kansas finally has really good wings, really consistent wings with high shooting percentages. Melvin Council led the A10 in steals, the whole league in steals. That is some tenacity that Kansas just didn't have last year. And then El Marco, we know what we're getting with El Marco. So I think we're very similar in how we're seeing this team, just more of the minutes allocation. I think Melvin and Jaden will get the same amount as El Marco, and I think Bill's going to play with those three all year to find which one clicks with Darren Peterson the best.
yeah. And just to reiterate, we've talked about it. Bill Self has pretty much stated it. Like this is Darren Peterson's team. Like
Yep.
this is 1,000%. Like Darren Peterson has a chance to average like 22, 6 and
Yeah,
6, like
for
22,
real.
8, like you have there is no ceiling on what Darren Peterson might do this year. And I don't want to focus on him too much, Bez, because we've talked about him so much and he's talked about it so much. But yeah, Darren's going to be special this year, and I'm excited for it. And I really do think that was the biggest thing about creating this team is the length athleticism factor. Like Darren, his wingspan's 6'10", Flory's 7'2", uh,
Mm,
Paul's is 7'8",
it
seven
is.
foot eight.
That
So,
too.
so your five spot, ginormous wingspans. Tiller's is 7'3", more than Flory's. Uh, Rosario, I didn't even know this. He is 6'9". 6'9" wingspan, and he's bouncy,
He's a
like
little
really
furfy.
bouncy.
He's got a little furf in him, man. Got a little
And
furf in him.
self compared him to CB, I'm pretty sure in his
That's
presser.
the vibe, man. I
But
feel
Melvin, he's got a plus wingspan. He's 6'4" plus wingspan. El Marco, long as hell arms. And
you.
I'm not sure about Trey Wyatt, but he's 6'7" listed at, and he's notable to guard the four. Like that's one of his calling cards is he can play the four, guard the four. So he's probably got a plus wingspan, I would guess. This team is long, it's athletic. It really plays to kind of the style that Darren Peterson is suited for, and frankly, that Bill Self is suited for. Bez, am I wrong?
No, not at all. This is a Bill Self team, man. This team is if they all buy in, and you don't really, if 9 or 10 of them buy in, like this team is going to be much better than last year's team.
Yeah. I just think with Hunter, like it didn't work out the whole way that Kansas was guarding the ball screens, Hunter not really able to handle it. I would say, even though he was a lot better last year, especially year one, it was pretty horrendous, I would say. Now you have two guys in Flory and Paul who are going to be able to do it, get out there and do it. Uh,
Hmm.
you have other guys who are going to be able to defend the crap out of you. Darren is one of the best defenders, uh, probably right away in the league. And that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Darren Peterson is an absolute beast.
You
Uh,
said 22, 6 and 6. He's gonna have 2 steals a game with that too.
yeah. And from that, Bez, whenever you get better defensively, guess what happens? You get
Shots go in.
easier buckets on the
Hmm.
offensive end. And these past two Kansas teams, we talked about how bad the transition was for that. Remember that period of time last year when the amount of fast break points Kansas was averaging and the amount of steals. and
Yeah.
turnovers forced Kansas was getting, that's
Yeah.
not going to be a problem
No.
this. It's
No.
just
You got guys who can get out and run and not want to do it too. Like that's another thing, Like Zeke, your highest scorer from the guard spot, he didn't want to get out and run. He wanted to spot up and shoot, right? And Dewan, he likes to outlet pass, but he's not. I'm going to take it and go quick. He's just not that type of
take it
player.
and go and dunk on you.
Yeah, I mean, now you get a guy in Darren Peterson who can take it 94 feet and dunk over you, or he can yank it back and hit a three in your eyeballs. That was not the case. Not the case for 5 years. I mean, it has been so long since Frank and Devontae were here. It just has. Devon Dotson, it's been so long since he was around. And now you're finally getting back into that just speed and athleticism from the guard position. Like is again, Zeke, not a great athlete.
Is it
Dewan,
is this
great.
the best guard that Kansas has ever had? Is it, Beth?
I I think Darren Peterson is going to be better, and I say that confidently, than Andrew Wiggins, than Josh Jackson, than Grady Dick. Give me any freshman Bill Self's ever had. I don't think it's going to be close. And he's going to be in Frank Mason talks by the end of this year. And the only reason I won't put him above Frank is because Frank was 4 years and Darren will be one and done and get to be the number one pick. But dude, just in terms of talent and statistical output that he's going to put out, he is going to be Bill Self's best player.
Yep. It's the identity thing, Bez. Like I just keep coming back to it. Like this year's team has dogs. Like
Mm-hmm.
the whole Melvin Council team, if you're not a dog, then you're dog food. I think the team is embracing that. I just think that this year there is an identity. What was Kansas's identity the past 2 seasons that we've been doing this podcast?
Just get it to Hunter and hopefully you hit a kick out three.
I mean, you couldn't put your finger on one because there wasn't one.
That was
So
kind of it.
it's just it's a whole new team, and that's what I like about it. And Bill Self has always kind of preached in this portal area that it's easier to coach freshmen. Like it's easier to coach freshmen than it is
Right.
to coach these guys like AJ Storr who have played in 20 different spots and
Mm-hmm.
guys like Hunter Dickinson who played at Michigan. Uh, this year, Darren. First year. El Marco only played in Kansas system. Rosario, first year. Trey White is the only one. He was USC, Louisville, Illinois, now Kansas. Flory in Kansas system. Council, St. Bonaventure, coming to Kansas. Like it's new. It's new. It's Power Five. It's new. Dawson, same thing.
Yep.
Bias, same thing. International.
Yep.
Tiller, only thing he knows Kansas right now. McDowell, only thing he knows Kansas. There's
Yep.
not a single person on this team besides Trey White who has been consistently drilled by a college coach at the Power Five
Right.
level.
Right. And the thing with Trey White is he can average 5 points a game and be extremely productive. He doesn't need the ball at all. He doesn't. He's going to give you a ton of little things off of the ball that matter a whole lot. And that's something that you don't coach anyway. You either have that or you don't. And that's what makes players special. That's what brings guys to Kansas to start under Bill Self, is you can do those little things that Trey White's going to do. So even with his Power Five past, I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to buy right in. And he's like, Darren, which way do you want me to set the ball screen? Because I'll just do that for 40 minutes. And I think it's, I couldn't
I
be
think there's a lot of guys like that on this team, Bez, where
right.
it really does not matter what
No,
like what is going to be in the box score at the end of the night. I don't think it's going to
what
matter.
they're going to look at is how many did we give up? That's going to be the most important stat for this team. How many points did we allow? If
Yeah.
it's under 65, we're shaking hands and high-fiving and doing all that and throwing water all over everybody in the locker room. That's the only stat that matters. Points allowed. How many did we give up? Because we're going to be just fine over here. Darren's going to score. Melvin's going to hit shots. Jaden's going to hit shots. Cole is going to be an X factor to the max. And Marco might give you 10 a game. You're going to get yours. How many did we give up? That's what they're going to look for. And that's why this is super, super exciting, because all of the stuff, all put the fan base on blast here a little bit. Everything you complained about last year is the opposite. So you better shut your mouths this year and let Bill go to work because this is the type of team you wanted to see last year. You're getting it. He's giving it to you. And he's going all in because we might talk about this later. This, you don't know if it's it or not for Bill. Every single year we're going to do this. Is this the last year, last year, last year? Every single year until he's done, we're going to do it. It starts with this year. And if this is it, you better let him cook and let him go out with a bang because this is the exact team that he wants to coach.
When do you think the last time Kansas was finished top 10 defense in Ken Palm, Bez?
Um, COVID team that got cut short.
Yes.
Nice.
There have been some 11s, some 12s since then, but not a top 10 since that team. That team was number two, by the way, with one of the craziest Ken Palm marks of all time, and I don't remember who was number one that year, but god dang, if they were number one, it might have been Tech,
Yeah,
honestly.
you got Doak down low, you got Dotson up top, you got Ochai up top, and more importantly, you got Marcus freaking Garrett up top. That's a freaking team of dogs. Freshman Christian Brown, ACB, only way you're playing is if you guard. He said, "Yes, sir. I'm a guard then." And that's what that team was built around. And oh, baby, that team was,
I, I
whew,
I'm not going to say that these teams are similar in either
nah,
way, but I think defensively has a chance to be pretty similarly good
I think
uh
so.
defensively. Well, all right. Any other final thoughts, Bez? Yeah, the kind of one question I watched the offseason grades. If you haven't seen the Field of 68 with Randolph and Jeff on the offseason grades, go ahead and watch that as well. But one of their concerns was the whole shooting factor. Are you concerned at all with that?
I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I mean, Jaden Dawson is going to make shots. Okay, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he's going to make shots. Cole Rosario is going to make shots. I do acknowledge that those are your two only like shooters, right? You know, there's not like Melvin's not a shooter. Okay, Trey White is definitely not a shooter. Darren Peterson is a scorer, not a shooter. So if you want to nitpick one thing, yeah, the 3-point shooting I don't think the volume is going to be super high. The percentage might be okay depending on who's taking them. But sure, if you want to nitpick one thing, go with that. I don't think it'll be a problem because I think DP is going to
I
have the
think the
ball.
shot creation, yeah.
Exactly. I think you're going to find so many open shots that all of a sudden Melvin Council is hitting shots because he's never been this open in his life. And Allen Fieldhouse is a shooter's gym. Everybody knows that. Zeke Mayo shot, I think, 95% from three in Allen Fieldhouse last year. It just people make shots in that gym. They're going to be open. The problem last year was they weren't open because everything was clogged up in the middle. Nobody had to help. And if you were you're helping off of KJ. KJ ain't hitting a shot. So I don't think there's a KJ Hunter, DeJuan clog anymore, right? Flory's not going to hit threes, but he can space it a little bit better than Hunter did. Open shots will come. And even if you don't hit him, Darren's just going to give you so much, man. He's just going to give you so much offensive freedom to try different things. You're going to find open shots. That's the thing.
Yep, I agree. All right, we're gonna take a quick break here, guys. Whenever we get back, we're gonna talk a little bit about Kansas's non-conference schedule, do a little predicting, what we think is gonna happen, and then we'll kind of end at the under four, talking a little bit more about Bill Self's health scare, the new people on staff, and some 2026 recruiting. Much more to come here on the Hum. Stay with us, y'all.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hum, a Kansas Hoops podcast brought to you by the Field of 68. We are now here to talk about Kansas's non-conference schedule. And Bez, it is another doozy. Bill Self, he does this year after year, provides us with a great non-conference schedule. Let's just go ahead and dive in. We'll kind of go game by game here, and then of course talk about some of the biggest games. At Louisville, exhibition is kind of a big one to note there. Louisville is probably going to be a top five team in the country to start the season, have an elite backcourt. I can't wait to see how Darren and everybody kind of fares there. Then you got Doug Gottlieb coming into town, Green Bay, November 3rd, uh, to kick off the season. Pretty awesome there. At UNC, November 7th, giving us kind of a first week, marquee game, going to the Dean Dome. Of course, North Carolina last year came down, Fieldhouse was down huge at halftime and roared back. And
Mhm.
for whatever reason, Bez, I always remember it the other way around, that Kansas
Really?
roared back and won the game. I don't, but that is not what happened. Uh,
Yes.
then you got Corpus Christi coming in November 11th, Princeton coming in November 15th. They might be a sneaky good team there out of the Ivy League. Then you got Duke in Madison Square Garden November 18th for the Champions Classic. Of course, it's a couple weeks back now in the season. That's going to be a really fun one. The Boozer twins versus Darren Peterson. Really, Bez, I don't think they played much at
I
all.
don't think they would have.
I don't think they had played at all because Prolific didn't play Columbus and Chipotle.
Yep.
And I am
Different
not sure.
circuits.
I'm not sure if they matched up at like City of Palms or something like that. So
I would be
that
shocked.
might be the first matchup
Yeah.
between the Boozer twins and Darren Peterson. I could be wrong there though.
I
Not,
don't think you are.
but either way, get Duke back and champions is awesome. And then you go to the players area, players era. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Players era, sorry. The next, I can't talk. It's been a long time, since we podcasted. Apparently, I've lost it here. But you got Notre Dame on the first night, November 24th. Then you got Syracuse, November 25th. Both games at 2:30 Central on TNT. And then Kansas gets whatever placement game there, I believe. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Notre Dame, Syracuse, I think that's two wins for Kansas. I
Yep.
think that's at minimum a third, fourth place game there,
Hmm.
which will be probably against an elite team. So you're looking at an elite level game there. And I really think that Kai and Anthony, Carmelo is guaranteed to be at that game.
Yeah, I do.
Like that's going to be a fun game to watch there, Kansas, Syracuse. Th- This gauntlet right here, this stretch, Bez, is just
Right.
insane to me. Then you get UConn strolling into town on December 2nd after Players Era. Missouri at T-Mobile, December 7th, little neutral site game there. That's going to be a phenomenal atmosphere. Gonna maybe be some fights there post game. Never know.
Gotta be me.
At NC State, December 13th, Will Wade, year one. Going to be an awesome game. And then Towson is coming into Allen Fieldhouse. Guys, do not sleep on Towson. They are good. Tyler Tejada, one of the best players in all of mid-major basketball. That's probably an NCAA tournament team that Kansas is facing there. And then Davidson on December 22nd to round out the non-conference schedule. But that stretch from November 18th to December 13th, Duke, three players errors games. One of them is probably going to be against a, top 10, 20 team in
Yep.
the country. UConn, who's top probably three, four, five this year.
Mhm.
Missouri rivalry game, and then at NC State. That
That's
right there is pretty much simulating the NCAA tournament
yeah,
of
pretty
a,
much.
a run in the NCAA tournament. Like if you come out of there undefeated, it's pretty crazy.
The players era, you're probably looking at Bama, A&M, Creighton, Oregon, Houston. I mean,
Is
it's gonna be one of those
is
teams.
Auburn in that?
I
Auburn,
don't see
I
Auburn.
thought,
They might be. This link cuts off. Auburn is Baylor's there, Iowa State's there, Auburn's there, Gonzaga's there, Michigan's there, San Diego
yeah,
State's there.
Michigan. The
Hey,
the game that I would want for that third game is a Michigan or an Auburn. Uh,
Tennessee is there. St. John's is there. Dude,
St. John's. St. John's would be great too.
this is a loaded players there. Like it is going to be awesome. That third game, even if it is a third, fourth place game, you're playing a top 20 team easily, easily. I mean, I love going to Chapel Hill. That'll be awesome. Get that home and
So
home.
how many ranked teams will that be then? Probably UNC is probably going to be ranked in some
Baylor,
capacity, I would say.
Kansas, St. John's, Iowa State, Houston, Auburn, Oregon, Zaga, Bama,
I,
Michigan.
I meant I meant on the schedule. On the
Yeah.
schedule, Bez.
Oh, I was
Not
like,
that
there's
players.
14 in the players era, if you're,
Yeah.
you're
It
wondering.
would it would be UNC Duke, whatever that game is, UConn. I don't know about Missouri. Probably not Missouri. NC
I'd
State
say four
maybe has a
is
chance.
safe to
So they're
say.
4 or 5 ranked
Hmm.
games in the non-conference out of what is it? 11, 13 games?
Yeah, and then you got at Louisville. It's an exhibition, but
13
that's
games.
another team you get to play against if that's ranked. So, and then like you said, like Towson, don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on Davidson either. Like these are good, solid mid majors. Princeton, that's your Ivy League. Kansas plays every year. That's sometimes that's a nice win, but sometimes, dude, sometimes they'll be in your grill.
Yeah.
Really good non-con. Really good non-con. Super exciting.
What game are you most excited for, Bez?
I think that the Missouri Kansas City atmosphere, that's going to be a really nice game. I don't think Kansas struggles in that game though. I'm excited for the third players era game because that's going to be a Power 5 game in Vegas, end of the weekend. Everybody's hammered. Everybody wants to go watch it. Like if that's a championship game too, dude, like that
It's
game,
UConn for me because it's almost like you get the to taste the players era you get kind of a little bit of a taste of a great atmosphere, but then it actually comes to Allen Fieldhouse. You actually get a top, maybe depending on how Kansas plays, that could be a top 10 game depending on how Kansas plays start the season. Maybe even a top five, top 10 game in Allen Fieldhouse. Obviously, UConn wanting revenge. That's my game of the
yeah,
non-conference schedule. Uh, it's going to be a great game, and I think that is kind of a really good barometer game too.
right.
Go to the players area, you play 3 games in 3 days. Like,
Mhm.
what are you made of coming back home, having to defend your home court against a top 5 team?
Right. Yep, totally right. 1 week off, but 3 in 3 days against three quality opponents, one really good. Yeah, man, that's gonna be a that'll be a great test. And then you get Missouri right after, and that's a rivalry game. So how much do you care about that? I was so upset last year when Missouri just pounded Kansas in their place. Just Kansas showed no GSF about getting destroyed by their rival because it wasn't their rival, because the players it, it it didn't hit home for them. Okay. That's not going to happen. Bill's not going to make that same mistake twice. That game will matter to our guys. It'll definitely matter to those fans. Missouri fans will travel there. Everyone always assumes Kansas to T-Mobile is like a home game. That won't feel like a home game. It will at times, but it won't look like one. There will be plenty of black and yellow in that crowd. And then right after that, you go right to NC State, and that's a true road game against Darian Williams, who we just talked about, left you for NC State because they paid him more money. Is there a bigger middle finger to a program than that? Oh, Blue Blood couldn't afford me. I'm going over here. All right, we might have something to say about that.
All right, that kind of wraps up the non-con schedule. Let's before we go into Big 12, because we don't have the official Big 12 schedule yet. Let's go into record prediction. I think Kansas goes 11-2, and I think that they lose to UConn. And I think Kansas splits one of Duke and the Players era, three third place game or first place game.
I agree with that. I think they split Duke or the players era. I think they beat UConn. I think this is going to be in Allen Fieldhouse's back year. I really do. I think it's an undefeated home season. And I think the second loss for me, because I agree with you, I think it's 11-2. I think it comes between UNC and NC State. I don't think you come out of that 2-0. I actually am leaning towards a UNC win. We go into Chapel Hill and beat them. I think NC State's solid. And they're always right around the bubble. Sometimes they pop up. Obviously a couple years ago they make that miraculous run where they weren't even on the bubble and
Yeah.
play themselves into the Elite Eight and give Duke a real run for their money. But
No,
I
Duke, they won. They beat Duke
they
for the
did beat
Final
Duke. They
Four.
did beat Duke
They
that year.
went to
Yeah,
the Final Four.
they did. They did.
I was there.
You were there, Sam. I don't think NC State's like that this year. I don't think they're a Final Four team or anything, but those are two true road games is really what I'm excited about because that's a good. And then we'll get into this Big 12 schedule, right? It's a very, very based on how the splits are. It's a very winnable schedule, very winnable schedule. You could get theoretically two of your three toughest road games out of the way before Christmas, and I think that's pretty big for this team and gearing up to make a big run in March.
Yeah, let's kind of shift gears to that. Big 12 schedule has been released as far as what the matchups are going to be. No official dates, I believe, so far for the Big 12 schedule, but we do know that Kansas is going to play Kansas State, Arizona State, and Iowa State twice. We know that Kansas is going to play at home only Baylor, AJ Dybanta, and BYU.
Hmm.
Cincinnati, Houston, TCU, and Utah, all coming to Allen Fieldhouse, and then on the road only, Arizona State, UCF, Colorado, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, and Texas Tech. Bez, in that last one, the away only, I named Texas Tech as that's probably the only team out of
Hmm.
those away onlys that is going to make the NCAA tournament.
I see it, man. I mean, at least top half of the
Possible.
conference.
I mean, a lot of those teams are going to be maybe on the bubble, but I see Texas Tech as the only preseason NCAA tournament team lock on the away only.
I totally agree with you. And I think if they drop I think they drop that one, and that's it. You get your mojo back in Morgantown after a weird trip last time. Um, Colorado, not concerned with. Oklahoma State, not concerned with. UCF, not concerned with. Arizona State, not really concerned with. I already declared this is an undefeated home season, so you're sweeping that stretch. You're sweeping K-State, Arizona, Iowa State at home. I maybe you lose at Arizona, at Iowa State, but man,
I don't
it's
think at
really
Iowa
hard.
State this year. I think Kansas comes out on top in Hilton and is not letting Kansas State win on their home floors again.
They're not.
And then Arizona, I agree. I think that'll be a great game though. I mean, that's going to be a lot of. I mean, DP is probably boys. I'd assume with Koa, uh,
Yeah,
and Burries and all
Burries.
those
Oh yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah.
Bryce.
A lot of good.
So
It's just really hard when you just look at that. And we don't have the schedule and the travel and the Saturday to Mondays yet. But you just look at this, it's hard to find more than five losses. It's hard to find more than four losses. It just is. Like you have to assume like, okay, maybe they drop one at home. Okay, that's pretty rich to assume Kansas is going to drop one at home. I know last year was bad at home, but it's a bounce back Allen Fieldhouse year. The fog returns, Sam. The fog returns and are undefeated at home.
I think it's at Tech,
Yep.
loss, at Zona loss, and I think there's two just random ones in the Big 12. Like I could not tell you which ones at
Yeah,
all, but there's going to be
maybe
two random ones. So I'm going 14 and 4. I'm going 14 and 4.
like
I think
maybe
that's a top three finish.
maybe at Arizona State is a big Monday after you battled Houston at home on a Saturday. That's where those random ones come in, right? You just played your heart out, got a really, really good win at home. Maybe game day was there. ESPN was definitely there. Then you got a 2-day trip across the country to UCF or Arizona State, maybe even West Virginia on a Monday. They've been gearing up for you for weeks. That's where a random loss could come. But just off of this, man, I mean, it looks really really favorable for KU.
Yep. I think this is the dream Big 12 schedule. And the last few years, like I think Houston has been twice that, but again, I think last year and the year before might have been 20 games, or maybe just last year was the 20 games. but Kansas had a heck of a schedule in the Big 12 every
Brutal.
single year, like
Really has.
brutal schedule. And that is not the case this year. So yeah, I'm with you. So what were you going? I'm 14-4. What were you at for Big 12?
I'll stay 14-4, but if the schedule comes out and I like it, I'm going 15-3.
Do you
So I
think
think you're
15 and
right.
3 gets it done this year?
I think who gets it done?
15-3. Do you think that gets it done?
Yeah, I do think it gets it done. I think,
Houston and
Houston will be
Tech,
back.
man. Houston and Tech are good.
Tech's a natty contender, I think. You locked him in for the NCAA. Yeah,
And Houston is too.
Houston
East,
always will be. They have to win it at some point. Kelvin Sampson is too good of a coach to not have a natty. They're gonna win it at some point. All right. They I don't know, man. Like Houston's been so good the past 2 years. Okay, at some point they have to experience the Big 12. Okay, at some point they have to have a 3 game stretch where they're like, "Whoa, that is brutal." Okay, I haven't looked at their splits yet. I think 15-3 for sure gets it done. I think 14-4 could also get it done because I think maybe Houston goes 14-4. You get them at home and you beat them at home. You have the
I don't,
tiebreak.
I don't think 14-4 is getting it done. I think it's going to have to be three. What didn't Houston didn't lose a game last year, right?
They're 90-0 in the Big 12, I think. I'm not quite sure. But, no, they never lose, man. But at some point, you got to have a 3 game stretch where it looks brutal for you, right? Their schedule last year was pretty nice, I thought. It was pretty nice. That's why I bet on them to be a 1 seed. I locked in at a 1 seed. They won the championship in all my freaking brackets. They were really good and they had a very nice schedule. This year, Kansas, I think, is really good. And I think they have a very nice schedule. I think it's a top 3 seed in the tournament. I think you're easily a top 3 seed in the Big 12. And Arizona's maybe too young to make a run for the money for number one. So you're looking at what is Baylor going to do? Brand new team. What is Iowa State going to do? Kind of a brand new team with Lipsy still hanging out. BYU with Dybansta obviously is going to be tough. But Texas Tech is really good. I think it's between Kansas, Houston, and Tech. I think those are the three that are be at the top of the conference all year.
BYU is going to have a say. I,
They're
I
gonna.
I
I
think
agree.
I think if you really had to tier it right now, it would probably be Houston on its own, Tech, BYU, and then probably Kansas,
You're probably right
maybe
because the
maybe
Kansas names don't
then
pop off.
probably under Kansas, Arizona, Iowa State.
Probably because the Kansas names don't pop off the page, right? And we're sitting here knowing who these guys are because we've been studying them for 5 months because we're super excited for the season. We've convinced ourselves that this roster is going to work. Well, from a national standpoint, it doesn't really look like it's going to work. And it's not just that Bansta at BYU, right? They got dudes coming back. Isn't Saunders back?
Hmm.
That guy's a demon. I mean, he's awesome. And so I'm fine with that. Houston, you give them respect, put them in their own tier. Tech is right there, and BYU is going to be very, very good. Okay. Kansas is closer to that tier than I think the Iowa State, Arizona, Baylor, whoever you want to throw in that fourth tier. I think Kansas is closer to that second tier than the latter. But I think
I think this is going to be a good year for the Big 12. The top of the Big 12, I think is going to have
very good.
a
The
really good
top
year
is going to be
nationally.
very good. The bottom's going to be very bad. The middle, you're going to get 4 extra tournament teams, maybe. But, like K-State, UCF, Colorado, like, Okie State, they're pulling it down a little bit, pulling the conference down a little bit. But that top, man, I mean, Tech, Houston, KU, BYU, those are top 4 seeds in the tournament. Okay.
Arizona has a
I
chance.
play their way into that. Iowa State, maybe, depending on what kind
Hey,
of.
Baylor has so many new guys. They have
We
a
have
whole
no
lot
idea with
of new
Baylor. I
names.
mean, we really
We don't.
don't. But you assume with Scott Drew, they're going to at least be in talks for that. So good conference.
Wes Miller and Portnier, kind of on the hot seat there.
There's
It's a
just a
big
lot
year
of
for the Big
ways.
12. TCU last year was super young. Now they've, gained a year.
I like TCU
Year.
this year.
I don't think they've lost a lot of dudes out of the portal or anything. Caden Bug Edwards is a beast.
I
Uh,
like I like them. I just think there's a lot more ways the schedule could have gone worse for Kansas.
yes. Oh, yes.
Like if you just flip those home and away games, now you're really worried about the season. Now you're at Baylor, you're at BYU, you're at Houston. It's like, oh, that's a gauntlet. At TCU, that is a gauntlet. Okay. But then you get these nice cushy away games like UCF and Colorado. Like Now you're kind of talking yourself into this a little bit. All right.
Yep. I'm going 25-6 overall heading into the Big 12 tournament. And I think that is probably a top 2-3 finish Big 12 and top 2-3 seed NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And I think as far as overall ceiling for this team this year, I don't think Final Four unless Darren Peterson goes absolutely nuclear. I'm talking like dropping 40-point games on people's heads.
Don't rule it out.
And I think the ceiling is Elite Eight this year.
I would give it Final Four just because I think if this roster clicks, it's gonna click. And defense is gonna matter. I mean, how many of these Houston teams are
There's
household
just so
names?
many good teams this year, Bez. There's
That's
a lot
great.
of teams at the top that like last year you're kind of looking at some of these teams at the top like, oh my gosh, they're good. And what was the Final Four last year? I know it's not guaranteed to happen again, but
It probably won't, but it's gonna be top three seeds again, for sure. But then again, like there's a lot of good teams. You're only gonna play three of them in the bracket in the tournament. The 11 seed you're going to play is not going to be awesome. The 10 seed you're going to play maybe can beat you. They're not going to be a juggernaut. Okay. So if this roster clicks, it's going to click because they're not going to give up points. That's what our identity is going to be. So I am betting on Kansas is going to be a top 5 defensive team in the country with a stud offensive player. Well, that formula has worked pretty damn well for Houston the past couple of years. That's kind of been their thing, right? Whether it's Sasser or Shed, and then the defense, and then the couple of shooters. That's worked for them. It's going to work again this year, by the way. Emmanuel Sharp's going to light it up again. Okay. That's going to work for them this year. I think Kansas is more towards that than they have been lately. But I do want to say, I don't think this is a championship team. I don't think that should deter KU fans because this is going to be a very fun team to watch. Your love of Kansas basketball that's been tested the past couple of years, watching Hunter
it's
Dickinson
going to be back game one.
and it's going to be back, man. Like it's going to be a fun team to watch. Don't sell your soul for Natty or bust. Don't sell your soul for Big 12 championship or bust because you can't lock either of those in for Kansas whatsoever. They're uphill battles. Both of them are. But this team's at least going to be fun to watch. They're going to bring you back into the fog with some passionate energy. Last year, those last few home games, man, everyone's like, oh, are we going to lose this again? Like, that was the vibe. Are we going to lose this again? And like that's so negative, and it's never been like that for our entire lives. This year, the whole thing is going to be reversed. It's at least going to be a team you're going to get excited for, and that you can convince yourself in March you can go on a run. Last year, dude, I picked Arkansas in my bracket. I'm like, dude, Kansas is not winning a tournament game. Are you kidding me? I just watched them all year. They're terrible. Right? At least this year,
I
you got a
convinced
guy.
myself. Remember, Bez?
I know you did, Sam. I know. I know. You convinced you're like St. John's can't score. Which you were right about that,
I
dude.
was correct.
You're right about that. Kansas wouldn't have beat St. John's probably. But this is at least a team that's going to guard, and you have a guy at the 1 or 2 that's going to put up points in an exciting fashion. It's at least going to convince you when March comes. Well, you look at the way the bracket is, and I kind of like our draw. Like at least there's going to be that.
Bez, I loved every second of that. Thank you for that. We're gonna go to break once again, guys. Whenever we get back, we'll kind of go over Bill Self's health scare a little bit, and then we're gonna dive into some 2026 recruiting. Kind of my thoughts on where Kansas is going with this class. Coming right up.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay booster too from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hum. We are now here to discuss a few more things to wrap up. First things first, a couple weeks back, Bill Self had a bit of a health scare. He went to the hospital, had two stents in his heart. He is all good now. Like we said earlier, he said that he could coach today to the Field of 68. So he's all good, but all of this happening has kind of brought up the question in, national media circles, kind of local media circles, and I want to discuss it, Bez. What is the succession plan in your eyes? How close are we to having to deal with this? Bill Self leaving Kansas, and is Jack Vaughn, the assistant that Kansas just hired, some coaching experience in the NBA, most notably with Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. Is it him? Is it somebody else? Just kind of what do you think, Bez, on a succession plan for Kansas?
So Bill was asked this in an interview. I can't remember if it was with Jeff or if it was with Rothstein, but I loved what he said. He said, I want the best guy who wants to be at Kansas. I want to see Kansas stay Kansas. If that means going outside of the family and poaching a guy like a Nate Oates, right? Someone like that, if that's the best option, that's what he wants. That's what I want too. If you can't get somebody like that and Jock Vaughn is the best option, go all in on it. Go all in on it. I do think there's some concern. Jock Vaughn's never coached in college. It's obviously a completely different world than the NBA. The basketball is different too. Like it's you can say, oh, it's still basketball. It's not. It's a different. The game is played completely different between college and the NBA. So, do I think Jock could do it? Absolutely. I think he could do it. I think he can recruit. I
I
think
think
he's
he
going
could too.
to recruit. I think he's going to be very vital in that sense. For as long as he's an assistant at Kansas, he's going to be a very, very, very important guy and an important coach in that staff. I don't know what he wants to do though, right? Like, does he even want the head coaching job? He might just want to be the GM or the assistant or the main recruit, whatever he wants to do, he's going to get to do. Then the head coaching question comes up. Does he want to do it? If he does, his name will be in the ring. Okay. I do think I would rather go for the go get a proven awesome college basketball coach. And if that means hiring him over Jock Vaughn and then Jock Vaughn leaves,
Todd Golden. Sorry,
we'll see.
excuse me. Todd Golden. Sorry.
Wouldn't mind, like at all whatsoever. I would love that. If that's the option you go, I would prefer that. And if Jock leaves because of that, I think you have to bite the bullet there and take in a Todd Golden or somebody in that world. That's where I would want to go. But
Nate
if it is
Oates is
Jock
fine too.
Vaughn, if it is Jock Vaughn, if it's him, I'm not going to complain. And I'm going to be really excited about that because he has coached in the NBA. And his Nets stint was weird. It was not a success, but he's a very proven NBA assistant, right? So he's at least been in the world for a long time. He knows what works. He knows, okay, these are the types of guys I need. And this is the way I need to go about this. It's just the transition from NBA to college. Is he able to make that? This year will definitely help him. And if Bill decides to just pass him the baton next year, I will have confidence that he has learned enough from Bill to where Bill is then, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to hire Jock. I'm just going to blindly believe Bill and whatever he wants to do because I know for a fact that he will not leave the program in a worse state than when he joined it.
Yeah. I want to note that specifically for this season, Jock Vaughn, great hire, obviously. But I think it's because just in the sense that Kansas needed something new
Hmm.
in the staff. Like
Totally. We talked about that a bunch last year.
something needed to change. And obviously Norm, vital part to the staff. Great, have a very successful retirement Norm. Uh,
Hmm.
Jock, I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Totally new everything. Like Candace had, I think it's important nowadays to have NBA guys. Every single time that I interview a recruit, and BYU is involved, that's all they talk about is,
Yep.
oh, well, they're NBA guys. They know how the NBA works. NBA,
Danny Ainge is a pretty good NBA guy to have.
like
Like,
that's all the kids talk about is NBA, this NBA that with BYU. I think having a guy with that experience is very, very important. Of course, also Kansas picked up Tony Bland, who's over at Washington, who another important hire in terms of recruiting out on the West Coast. We'll kind of get to that in a second, but the succession plan. First of all, I think we're looking at less than 3 years here.
yeah, I agree.
I think. We're
Yeah.
looking at maybe not this next offseason. I don't think it's going to be this next offseason. I'll say that. But maybe the offseason after that or the offseason after that. I don't think it will go past that as far as Bill Self's career at Kansas. It might, but I don't think it will. I don't think it goes past that. So by then, if Jock Vaughn has been on staff for a long time, kind of knows the ropes, I think I'd be comfortable with it. I don't think I'd be comfortable with okay, Bill Self is done after this season. Jock Vaughn, step in, you're the guy.
Right.
I don't think that is necessarily something
Scary.
that
Hmm.
fans would be comfortable with. And we've seen kind of across college basketball that necessarily bringing in somebody of your own blood,
I
it's not
totally
going to
agree.
work out.
I totally agree.
It just doesn't always work out. So I do think the timing of having Jock come in is kind of interesting, but I wouldn't say it's bona fide, like, okay, he is the successor by any stretch. But I agree with you. When that time comes, if he's here, his name will be in the hat. But I am also very, very much so in the boat of go outside and get somebody
Mhm.
proven like Bill Self. Like whenever Bill Self came here.
That was the move. Bill Self was a great college basketball coach when Kansas hired him. Go get a great college basketball coach. If you can't
Not
find,
that hard. It's not
it's
that hard.
really not. I mean, you're Kansas, right? There's
Indiana
maybe
did it. Indiana did it. Indiana said, screw this. I'm done with this and that. Let's just hire a good basketball coach. Let's just hire Darian DeVries. It's not flashy. We're not going to be in national news 24/7
do it.
because of it.
Just do it. And Indiana has been struggling. Kansas has not been struggling. Okay, in the grand scheme of things. Last year sucked, but in the grand scheme of things, Kansas's brand is still top
Again,
notch.
there are college basketball programs at in the Big 12 who would kill to have the past 2 seasons Kansas has had.
Right. I mean, it's still a top five job in the country. So, but if you can't go, the only reason I like Jock is if for some reason you try and you go after these guys and you just can't get them. And Bill says, honestly, I think that's okay because I think Jock's going to do a great job. Then I'm like, okay, then I think Jock's going to do a great job. I'm done trying to pretend I know more than Bill Self. And like you said, he said he could coach today after his, procedures. I believe him because you know what I've learned from being a coach? These people are freaking psychopaths. They are crazy human beings. All they want to do is be on the basketball courts all the time. Bill, he'll never say this, but he'd die out there. He would. That's just how these guys are wired. It's their entire lives. They've dedicated their lives to this sport, right? Bill is going to do it until he can't anymore. And then he's not just going to leave and say, "Peace, I'm out." Absolutely not. He's going to be way more Coach K than I think people realize. Coach K still hasn't left Duke alone. He's still nugging them, still being in Shire's ear all the time, which Shire has been loving. That's going to be the role Bill plays, I think.
All right, let's move on, Bez, to some 2026 recruiting. Like we said, Tony Bland hired there out of Washington, has a lot of really good West Coast ties, in kind of the AAU space and the recruiting space. And it has led to a couple of West Coast visits. Maxie Adams, who starred this summer for Vegas Elite, very, very stock rising player, has visits to Duke, all sorts of other places. Coming to town September 19th. Taja Riza also coming September 27th. Those are kind of the two that have been brought about because of Bland, I believe. And just kind of another overview, a general overview of 2026 recruiting. Uh, I think the two things to note is Kansas is definitely after a big man for this class, and they're definitely after a guard. Darren Peterson is going to be gone next year, folks, believe it or
Yep.
not.
Yep.
Kansas is going to have to have somebody at guard step in and replace him. Taylor Kinney just took his official visit this past weekend for the Fresno State football game, I believe it was. He was there. I saw him actually running around with Darren during the game, having a good time. Uh, I heard that things have gone very, very well with Taylor Kinney and his visit, and Kansas now may be kind of sliding into that upper tier of contenders that was previously considered to be Louisville and Indiana. If you're sensing a theme here, Jackson, what do all those schools have in common?
Um,
Louisville, Kansas, Indiana. They're Adidas schools.
Logo they wear on their jerseys. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
Taylor Penny is an Adidas guy. Uh, I think if Kansas wants to make a move there, they probably can. The other visits set in stone right now for Kansas. We'll just kind of go in order of date. Josh Irving set to visit September 13th. He is a big man who's also kind of been rising a little bit. He's visiting a bunch of places. Kentucky's in there for him too. We've already gone over the two West Coast guys, Maxi and Taja Riza. You also got Davion Adkins coming September 27th. Ikenna Alozi, another West Coast guy actually, coming October 17th for Late Night in the Fog. Who'll be there for that. Then you got Tony Bryant, five-star power forward, coming November 2nd. Deron Rippey, five-star point guard, will also be there that weekend, November 2nd through 4th. And Latrell Almond, he was scheduled to visit this weekend. That visit was postponed. I believe, as of now, those are all the visits that Kansas has scheduled. Ethan Taylor, he took an unofficial in June. He is a big man. Mocan was at Shawnee Mission, now at Link Academy. He took an unofficial in June. I believe he scheduled an official. I don't remember exactly when. Again, the names I would keep my eye on here. I'm hearing Davion Atkins is one to definitely keep your eye on for that big man spot. But I think Kansas definitely takes a big man, whether that's Atkins, Almond, Ethan Taylor. One's coming off the board going to Kansas. Brandon McCoy, number two, three overall prospect, Arizona Unity kid. Really, really like his game. Ferocious player, explosive guard, not really a one, but can kind of play it at times. Just kind of your combo. I would keep an eye on him in Kansas. I mentioned Taylor Kinney, Caleb Holt transferred to Prolific Prep. It's going to have a very, very similar role to Darren Peterson at Prolific, I would say. And who knows, maybe Kansas will get involved here. Kansas really isn't that heavily involved right now. I think maybe behind closed doors they are. Behold is visiting Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Alabama. Auburn right now. I think Kansas ends up being a major player there. Uh, Alozi, he's down to top eight. KU in there. I think KU is a major player there as well. Cameron Williams, Compton Magic guy, uh, really exploded this summer. He's now a top 10 prospect, 6'11", power forward, can kind of do everything. I think he's kind of a name to watch. Hasn't scheduled a visit or anything, but KU, I believe, is going to make a push there. Uh, then you got Mingo, Dylan Mingo and Rippy at the guard spot. If Kansas doesn't end up getting a Kenny or an Alozi, I think that's kind of where Kansas turns, and both of those guys, I think, are going to be late decisions. Maybe going into the spring. So I think those are two names to keep an eye on. Cole Clore just picked up an offer. Trent Perry just went down to four schools with Kansas, Maryland, TCU, Vanderbilt. He's a Link Academy guy. Uh, Undersized for kind of, his position, which I think is a 3-4, but super athletic, super explosive. Probably will end up setting a Kansas visit. Not sure if Kansas will end up taking him, but that's another name to look out for. And then the last name I have is Bruce Branch, 2027's number one overall prospect. If I'm Bruce Branch, he hasn't reclassed yet. I am hopping in this week 2026 draft. Keep in mind, this 2026 class is notoriously bad.
Low, yeah.
Like it's not a great class. I would expect Kansas at most, like what this past season, Kansas took Rosario, Peterson, Mbaya, technically freshman, um,
Calderon,
Sanders, Tiller.
right.
Kansas will never ever take five freshmen again. I will almost guarantee that. I would say three at most, at absolute maximum, three players out of this class for Kansas.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I totally agree with that. And I think only one guy scheduled for a late night visit right now. That's usually like a couple, two, three, maybe four guys coming
They
to
haven't been doing it that heavily the past few years, like really
last year. I think it was
on
just
late
one or
night.
two, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's always like they it's not going to be a big list of guys. It's just and that's it's interesting to look at this class that it's not super highly touted. First of all, because this year's class is awesome, and this year's
Oh,
draft
it's
is
so
crazy,
good.
loaded. And yeah, the 26. I mean, you never know. They're still entering their senior year. They still have plenty of time to maybe grow, but yeah, it's not a five-person grab. I'm honestly still surprised Kansas took five from last year, but yeah, is Ethan Taylor, did he not release a list recently?
I think he released a top six.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Kansas is in it.
Yes. Let me look that up real quick.
That'd be a great guy to get, Casey kid, keep him around. I love those type of.
Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Oregon.
Okay, yeah. And Mocan guys have been pretty good to Kansas since they started going after him. So solid list. I mean, Taj Ariza, I can't believe he's still in high school. Same with Mingo. Like I feel like I've been watching him play in high school forever. I cannot believe they're still in high school.
They've been good for a long time.
Good for a long time. Yeah. Watched them since they were babies. But yeah, solid. Couple, two or three guys, but you never know. Like the roster turnover, I mean, who freaking knows? Maybe Flory goes pro. DP definitely gone. Cole Rosario,
Yeah.
if he's awesome, he's not sticking around.
I'm pretty sure he's like actually legitimately right now, if you look up some mocks, Rosario's in him.
I believe it, man. I think he could totally be there. And then, Trey White, he's out of eligibility. So there will be spots to fill. They're just not, like you said, they're not going to be
Kansas
filled
is going to fill him with the portal.
exactly.
I think more so. My dream class right now, if I had to pick a dream three guys, I'd probably go Rippy, Almond, and Branch.
No TK.
No TK. I,
Hmm.
I like Rippy a lot more than TK. I'm kind of indifferent on Alozi. TK, could go either way there. But I'd rather have Mingo or Rippy over those guys 1,000% of the time. Mingo Rippy is kind of a toss up for me.
Mingo's my guy. I love that kid.
But Bruce Branch is the truth, Jackson. I'll tell you that much right now. I don't know if you know anything about Bruce Branch.
I know a little. I'm not a Bruce Branch ball knower though. I'm not gonna pretend like I am.
It's going to be really good,
I'm
and Kansas should grab him.
I would love to get that reclass because we tried with Stokes, right? And then he decided to, I'm just going to
Yeah.
dominate the EYBL circuit. Like no one
Uh,
has ever dominated it before.
Stokes might or might have not included Kansas in his top list. Nobody really knows. He tweeted out a bunch of colored hearts. Some people think it's Arkansas for the red. I think it's Kansas. There's also like I don't know,
He
but
was unbelievable this summer.
I
I
don't
know
think
you were
Stokes
there.
is coming to Kansas.
He
It's
was
not.
unbelievable this summer. And you saw it up close, but holy cow. That was ridiculous.
He was pretty nuts.
Did a
I mean,
reclass.
he was like Bez, you have to remember he was incredible last summer with all the guys that
Right.
all of
Yeah.
those guys. Like he
Boozers, like
was
all those guys.
undoubtedly in EYBL with Dybansta, all these
Boozers.
he was the top three player in the EYBL last year.
It was almost like he was too good this summer to even be playing on the highest possible high school circuit you can find. That's how good that guy is. Anyway, yeah, Bruce Branch, if he's anywhere close to that, let's hop in. Let's get in that pool.
Yeah. All right, Bez. That's really all I have for 2026 recruiting. It's going to be interesting this cycle. I mean, I think it's going to take like a certain couple dominoes because this is one of those cycles where all the same schools are recruiting all the same players, right? Like Latrell Almond, he's visited Indiana. He has like a visit. I think he has a visit scheduled to Louisville or has visited Louisville. He's was
But yeah,
supposed to visit Kansas. TK, same. It's the same three schools. Like a lot of these Adidas guys.
I mean, it's this NIL thing, man. Like it's about brands now. It's not so much about what coach can put me in the best spot. It's where my dollar's at and how high can I get drafted. Now, that's really what it comes down to nowadays.
Yeah. All right, Bez. It was good to see you. I'm not sure when we'll be back next. Hopefully, we'll get maybe some media stuff that we can go off of. But we'll be back, y'all. And then once the season gets rolling around, once we start getting closer to the season, we will of course be back weekly, even twice a week, three times a week, depending on how things are going. So appreciate y'all who has been sticking with us these past couple years. We're going to be rolling again this year. We'll have all sorts of guests on the show, some of your reoccurring favorites. It's going to be a good year, y'all.
I'm so pumped. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have a fun basketball team to talk about.